Well, once we met and we knew that we would be doing something creative together, um, finding the format, we could just kind of. I remember we went to the library a lot. Uh, we went to the cafe, and we just kind of
But we didn't study
feeling.
anything.
But we were just feeling how to approach. We felt it growing, but didn't quite know where it was going. We knew that we.
Well, we knew you wanted to work with some kind of healing system.
Yeah. Because even then, back in, what was it, the late 80s or something
That couldn't
like
be interfered
there's
with.
a shift going on that we both felt.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted, I think as we talked, we wanted something. We asked for something that would help people get to their dream. We didn't care what their dream was, just that they had a path to get there. So not knowing, now that we have more words for it, but back then it was trying to find a place that was working from you're here and how do you travel between to get to here, this other place. When you came up with that, when you heard that and you wrote that down and you read that in class, that phrase, close the door open,
It's a body of work.
everyone, just their jaws dropped. It is so spectacularly different. It's so like, it's the kind that you go like, what? What was that? I mean, it's just amazing that you can, and it's so beneficial because once you grab a hold of that and once you hear it, it's in you. It doesn't go anywhere. It's there for you. And it's like when you've completed something, that door is closing you into a new open space. So it's like always looking for a change to occur that opens you up, opens up the environment, opens up the atmosphere, opens up other people. That's what's needed. I mean, there's so much in society that's distractive. And so it's like, no, point yourself back to you. Go back to you. Feel that and feel whatever needs to close and be done. Let it close so this other new thing, whatever it's going to be, will open up for you.
Knew that was a very, very key, that one thing would build on another. We work organically from our own heart. Yeah, a place where you can hear, where you can actually hear clearly what it is that you want to do, you desire to do. I think, and that really is very hard. You know, you think that sounds easy. That is one of the hardest things for people to do. They go and throw so many means to try to hear clearly, to hear their own inner voice. There's so much in the world that checks us out of that. You know, we should be listening to this authority and that authority. And Robert and I didn't listen to any authorities to do this work. And I think it was hard. It was hard to not be able to go to somebody and have somebody tell us what to do. It was hard to learn to hear that clearly and to actually have confidence in it. I had worked in design, and I'd gone to New York. I was really noted for how I could work with color. Robert worked with a lot of black and white. We knew it had to do with pattern. We had been looking at fractals and everything about fractals. And so we sat down at the table, and it was so hard because what we tried to do is just pick the color and put it down. Pick a color and put it down.
Don't judge
a color
together.
Because the whole key is in the crayon box. It's in how we put colors together and shapes. It's how we live life and how we judge people and things and make decisions. So we wanted to come to where all the colors in the box could be on the piece if that was right. And so we centered ourselves, asked for help, for a clarity with it. And I'm telling you, I just became hysterical. It was like, oh, I never worked with primaries.
What's the meaning of this?
It was all these reds and greens. They were all like kitty colors, which I love kitty things, but, you know, not for serious art. I just got up. I went upstairs. And
I'll be
I
back.
said, I have to have a conversation with my creator. And I asked why, in this time of my life that I'm doing this, that I'm working with a man that is abstract, and I'm more Renaissance, and he works with black and white, and I don't work with these primaries. I am really upset. And then I got finished with my fit. I came downstairs, and we sat at the table, and we began.
And just, it's been it since then.
It's been it.
So a lot of it has to do with not judging anything. No judgment about it. Just, if there's not a hierarchical color code. Red isn't better than orange, and orange isn't better than black, and all of those things, they're all equal. So it's like King Arthur at the round table. There's no head of the table. It's all in the round.
It's a crayon revolution.
It's a crayon revolution.
And we realized that if you want to what is that, ascend your consciousness or become illuminated, sit down with a crayon box. And when you can pull out and put any color with any color in any way, and you don't have any charges on it, then you are illuminated.
You've gotten it.
Because then you don't have trouble with any color people. You don't have trouble with any size person. You don't have trouble with someone's ideas next to your ideas. That's where you have to come to even begin doing the patterns we've done.
All of this 30 years of work stems out of, what's the smallest box? A box of 8 crayons?
Mm-hmm.
It all comes out of that. You dump them out and you go, you know what? I'm going to put all these colors together and I'm going to keep doing it until I don't go, oh, that doesn't really go with that one. If you have a project to do and you're not judging the steps and you're just letting them unfold, then it's smoother. And if it's smoother, you feel better and it goes better. And all out of 8 crayons? All this comes out of 8 crayons. I had no idea that's
We did increase the size of the box.
We did.
We realized we had to go through
We went
all
to
72.
64. We even went to the 72 with the little sharpener on the back. Didn't you love that?
Mm-hmm. Our house is full of immensity of colors and all kinds of things. And we see all these things, we bring them home. And we bring them home because they're part of the whole world. And so if they can all get together in this house, that's part of that practice. And people come in there and say, well, this house has got so much stuff in it. But somehow it all feels good. And things, we listen to things and where they want to be in our space. And it's like listening to people and where they want to be in this world. We wanted one name.
Yeah, we knew that there were two of us, but we were working on one piece. And we knew that part of what we wanted to show people as our practice was, normally you think of an artist and they've got their canvas or their acreage, whatever they have, and that's theirs. You know, this is me, this is my expression. Well, we wanted to expand that, and we wanted to share that space with a female energy and a male energy working in balance and in tandem. And we want to show people that there is no right and wrong. You can be working on a puzzle and you've got different puzzle pieces and go, how can this one be right and this one be right when they're different? You turn them around and they fit together. And that's part of the puzzlement that is in the world going on. There's all these puzzle pieces and they're all been thrown up in the air, and it's thought that nothing fits together anymore. It really does. You just have to slow down, take the time, and start putting them and turning them around and seeing how they all fit together. So here we are on this piece of paper or this canvas, and we're literally drawing over each other's marks. So that's like having a conversation, and you're saying one thing and you're saying another, and it cuts right across. So wait a minute, but they go together. They fit together. Everything always fits together. It never not fits. Everyone, they're so worn out from the world that they're just sure now that nothing fits together. Their part fits, but no one else's does anymore. It's all drawn back in like that. But we're going, no. This is our canvas, and we're working together. Since there's two of us working, we need to come up with a single name to show the unity of what this is about. And so we asked.
We sat with it.
Let's find a name for us.
What is it? And we both sat there, and then we heard clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what our life is about, is finding the clarity here and the clarity there. In our lives, how many times do we hear a certain thing, an answer, and we don't pick it up? We don't do that gut feeling. And then finally we find out that was the right answer in the first place. But the distance between when we first heard it and when we actually did it, we call it a deficit. That is the space between. So what we do is we try to hear better. And all the time we hear faster and trust ourselves more, that every time we do, the deficit becomes smaller. And that's what we all deal with, is the time between we actually hear it and we actually do it. And that as we keep reducing it, and we have the will to reduce it, and we want to hear clearer and faster, and that's why it's about the middle, the between, because it's in the between that this deficit resides. It's what's between when you heard what was really right for you and when you actually had enough confidence in it that you did it. And that's how long you stay in there, in that space. And to make it a different space, instead of being a space of deficit, maybe it becomes a space of more information. So then all at once, your inquiry is more substantial than your hesitation and not trusting. And so that space in the middle, you learn how to turn on a light, and you learn how to trust yourself.
Our work is conversation. It shows up as artwork, but it's really conversation. It's really listening, and then we express what we've heard, and the questions that we have that we're expressing are how do we help people? How do we help ourselves? How do we create something that feels compassionate and nurturing?
And I ask to hear the divine in every moment in time, instead of just when I went to church, just when I went to Mass. I needed it more than that. And it was in that decision, in that asking, I had no idea what that would be. My life changed. And it started changing, and I started desiring to hear. And I wanted to hear it in all the decisions, because I wanted my decisions to be more in alignment with the love I wanted to be.
I mean, new is new. New has never happened before. I mean, it's invisible. So how do you address something that's invisible? A lot of people address the invisible as divine. They address it as something more than they are, something bigger. A lot of people think of it as very benevolent. And so I think a driving force for me since I was little, raised in actually varying religions throughout the years, but the thread for me was curiosity. Was this life is a big mystery to me that is fascinating, and so it's like, in a way, if you allow it, you never have to quit being a little kid. So, like little kids, when they draw something, the first thing they do is go show it to somebody. Hey, look what I did. And it's fascinating. What's fascinating about it is first there was something blank, and then something happened on it. Something appeared. And that is quite a mystery, just in of itself. A line going from here to there with a crayon, anything. And so that mystery, I think, is something that I've followed, and I follow all the way through. I think it's a guiding light, that there's this thing ahead that keeps unfolding. And it's a gift. Either the title or the feeling of the show, usually Suzanne is privy to that first. It really kind of the seed. I think it's a feminine attribute.
I'm the one that gets up in the night.
You are.
With the seed of it.
It's like someone knocking on your head, said, okay, here it is. This, and it's kind of.
But it does begin inside the show that you did before, because it wouldn't be real if it wasn't creating something else. If you're looking for what you're going to be doing next, go look at what you just did, because inside of what you just did are
the next one.
Are the seeds of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And so you always go back and listen to the work you just did. We step back from it and we allow it to feed us. And then whatever we get when we go our hunting and gathering, different things that all at once, they appeal to us and we don't know why. We'll get them.
We allow the appeal to happen. And I think that's a creative spirit. A creative spirit, for me, is someone that's curious, is on an adventure, is willing to let that adventure move into a mysterious space that's unknown because it's new. You haven't thought that way before, or you haven't done that, or you haven't gone in that direction. And then you come up with not answers, but you come up with discoveries.
Everything that we do now and have in our work, we actually had to anchor it in our living. We discovered it in our questions, in our life, and how our life, we've had a lot of things in our life that, besides just the art, that have been challenging, just like everyone. And we started with small things, realizing, first of all, that you had to know something and feel it equally to actually recognize what you had to do. In the beginning of the year, it's usually a huge pattern for the whole year that becomes our show that we live inside.
Our world is those shifts, listening for them, feeling them, and then expressing them.
So our work is about this livingness. It's like the world has got a certain plan. You know, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And you have to take the seeds of the last show and let them cut up through that very kind of already set pattern that others in the world are trying to set for the world. Because if you want to be an artist that changes the perspective to create more compassion, more love in the world, you're going to have to deal with cutting up through another pattern that's already been laid down. By January, they've already laid down a pattern, and what you want to do is you're going to break it.
Yeah, just a few things though.
We're behind the scenes here. Oh, but also I usually do.
Oh no, she put the food in. They had room in their car. So.
Installation day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting ready. Being prepared. Me. That's weird. I love this. I probably have what they call,
It's like Mr. and Mrs. Claus or something.
Oh,
I have bed beard. You know what it's like. It
I
goes
wanted
over
to
this
talk.
side.
Actually,
We have applied to be
We've applied. We have.
next Mr. and Mrs.
I think we've even been accepted.
We've been accepted.
So we're excited about that.
We have to ask
Very
them.
excited.
Yeah. So if we disappear, that's where we are.
Poof. Good now. So we're here in the library at Camden, and in the midst of our last show here, we've done 18 years. It's kind of a completion for us to get to this space. And what we realized as we have been working on this particular show, it informed us of kind of the trajectory of our entire 18 years, and how this particular show is about alchemy, but it informed us of how the alchemy has threaded its way through all of the shows. Actually, it's threaded its way through everything we've done since we first met 30 years ago.
There's that and one tote that's having stuff.
So I think it's a culmination, it's a journey, and to get to that kind of a landing space where you can kind of observe a bigger thread of it is pretty remarkable for us. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are bigger than what these 6 ones are like that are a little bit bigger as far as a double hanging. So
Okay.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
It'll work.
Don't worry.
It'll work.
Okay. You're always in the unknown to a certain level. Yeah. So, like the glass case, couldn't usually I know ahead of time what to put in here, but we had no idea. And then even up until this week, we didn't know how it all worked together.
We did not.
Yeah.
It's quite. This thing has been one heck of a mystery, I'm telling you, lady.
Yeah, it has. big pieces? Here, 1, 2.
With the family members helping put up the installation and be here and work with all of this energy, that flow is a pulse or a rhythm that everyone in the family feels, because everything we've ever done is a part of a resonance, that a pulse that happens to help shift and change things into a more open space.
Because we're a family and we love each other, we're constantly inside the work. Mm-hmm. It's like we've created tools that all of us could use individually to help us change our perspective or how we feel about people or things, because we're very different. So it's not like we just get along every minute of the day, but we use the work to shift us. So over these years, we've gone through together having money, not having money, having a home, renting a home, having children, not having children. I mean, our children grew up in this time, being well and not being well. And it's been, we have used this work to go through it, around it, above it, below it, whatever way we can get. Mm-hmm. And no matter what the world is doing, we stay focused on it, because we really know that if we get too involved in all the skirmishes and the distractions and the worries, we won't be clear with the work. It'll no longer will come from a fear place instead of the place of wisdom. So that's been their work and our work. And that commitment is so strong in them too. And so when we do this show, they're not only helping Robert and I, they're doing it for the whole community. Well, this is a time when the whole world has to move into the heart-brain. We have to actually allow the heart to be part of it, because that's where the compassion is and the love is. And then once it's part of the decision, then when it moves to the brain and we make it is complete, it's in harmony. It has the compassion. It doesn't have the deflecting energies. It doesn't have any deficits, because you've actually allowed your desire to sit inside your heart.